Welcome to WineWire, folks. I'm Nelson. This is Adam. Every few days on WineWire TV, we taste. You get the inside scoop on a bunch of wines that are imported into Ontario, distributed privately. They never end up in stores, but they are available here.
Right on. Today we have a really cool show for you. We are doing a little bit of old school, new school, and we're tasting two Pinot Noirs, one from the motherland in Burgundy in the Côte Chalonnaise, and the other one from Carneros Valley in California. Should be pretty interesting. You know, these are two, well, really one very famous producing region in France, and the other one which is producing some fantastic Pinots that are really challenging the French for on this grape. Let's go. First one, Nelson.
All right.
In front.
It is the Monterey Père et Fille Bourgogne Côte Chalonnaise 2010. It says right on the bottle, always look at the alcohol percentage, folks, 12.7%. You may think that's low. I think it's bang, smack, center target. That's where I want my Pinot Noir to be. Just in and around 13%, and I'm happy to see something under 13%. Cool, growing region. As it is old school, very minimalist label. They don't tell you much about it, but don't be shy when it comes to these, classic European styled labels, because there's usually something really cool inside the bottle.
Well, there is, and I think the key thing here is really it keys in on the very fresh fruit of cherry and strawberry. When it comes down to it, Pinot Noir really is a balance between fruit and this barnyard, this earthiness, this dirtiness that really is the calling card for Pinot Noir. Now, there's definitely a little bit of dirtiness, but whether we can call it a dirty one or not is a little bit up for debate. So what are you getting on the palate?
We've got beautiful, real fresh strawberry on the palate. And a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of complexity, some herbaceous characteristic coming in that is really nice. But what I love about this is it's so fresh, it's light, it's so quaffable, nice tannin structure. This is the ultimate charcuterie or salumi type of cold cuts and cheese wine. Yeah. It's got the tannin structure and the acidity really to help you just work on those fatty meats, and it's so quaffable.
But
it fits in with every meal.
This is the quintessential everyday drinking Pinot. Like I have this mental image of my head of the Frenchman pedaling his bike with the beret, looking like a mime, riding in the countryside, sitting down, opening his picnic basket, and breaking out this bottle. It seems a little messed up in my own head, but quite frankly, that's the image that I'm getting. This is really a wine, the Pinot Noir for the people, as opposed to the rarefied wines that we hear coming out.
And it is for the people, folks. It's $23.87 a bottle. You're in Burgundy and you're not even at $30. Welcome. Really, welcome. Nice drinking wine.
Absolutely. All right, so we go from the old school and we move to the new school. This is the 2008 Mahoney Vineyards Carneros Pinot Noir, 100% Pinot Noir, coming in at 13.8% alcohol. Now remember, Carneros, definitely a warmer region than Burgundy, for sure. That's the reason why the alcohol level is a little bit elevated in comparison, but still well within the wheelhouse of what I think is going to be an acceptable drinking wine. A little bit of a history around this. This one is made by a gentleman named Francis Mahoney. Francis Mahoney is one of the godfathers of Pinot Noir production in California. It's been around since 1971. He had a very famous, one of the first Pinot producing wineries called Carneros Creek that he eventually sold. Long story short, this should be an interesting wine, both from the fact that it's Pinot grown in California, but coming from the hands of a real Pinot master in California. So,
whoa.
Stinky.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
I got one word for this wine. It's reductive. Reductive. Made in the absence of oxygen. Okay? And what I mean by reductive, I would describe that as quite composty. We're talking about wet earth. And there's some fruit in there. I should talk about the fruit as well. There's some bright cherry in there, and perhaps a little bit of oak spice. But this wine, for me, in the aromatics. I want to let this wine breathe for a long time. I want to put it into a decanter because it does smell quite sharp. I want to put it in a decanter and let some air get into it, or I'm just flat out going to age it. What's it saying on the palate?
Palate, all those fresh fruit flavors are coming through, but that dirty note, that barnyard, that beastiness, almost like an animal note, is so pervasive here. I mean, it's so well integrated, but it gives this wine a real interesting profile. You know, there is a bit of spiciness to it as well, but for me, that animal note, and the only way I can describe it is kind of like horsey. It's bad, I know it's a bad term, but it is really quite pervasive and it is quite beautiful.
Very controversial. Pinot Noir drinkers are controversial by nature because they have this really earthy characteristic that is typical of many Pinot Noirs, especially the ones from France. Definitely this one, that would not make sense to many people, but it really, really makes sense, and it's an attractive card for Pinot Noir drinkers.
You know, despite which way you're going to go on this show, whether you're going to go old school or you're going to go new school, if you had never tried a Pinot Noir before, try it. It will change the way you think about wine and what goes on within the glass. It's really quite a beautiful grape. You know, this wine, to me, to be honest with you, harkens back to Burgundy a little bit, in the sense that it does have a lot of those barnyardy and those earthy notes to it, but you cannot escape its ripe fruit, its freshness. It's you know, it's definitely not going to have the kind of flavor profile in terms of fruit as the wine from Burgundy does, but nonetheless very pleasant. This wine comes in at $32.95, a little bit more expensive, but considering the quality that you're getting in comparison to some of the other Burgundies in the same kind of quality category, I still believe it's a very good value. Definitely good value. So what do you think? What are you going to pick?
You know what I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick the everyday drinking utility wine. You know, I'm going to go back to France here because, quite frankly, it is really difficult to get into Burgundy under $30.
Agreed.
And it's really tough to find good quality under $30 or at even $30. So you know what? I'm going with WineWireTV Bourgogne Chalonnaise 2010 for its versatility and its everyday drinkability.
Be honest, it was because I described it as that French guy driving on the bike, because that's you, isn't it?
Actually, I was thinking about the guy that would be wearing the shirt that's on your shirt.
Oh, right. Anyway. It's always about the shirt. Well, I was going to pick this wine anyways. I was going to pick the Mahoney Vineyards from Carneros. Just something, I love the warmth of California. I love the fact that you get that brightness in the fruit, but still get that barnyardy flavor that is so incredible about Pinot Noir. This is going to be my pick for this show. Listen, we encourage you to try both of these wines. The links to these wines are directly below. You can order them directly from our site, and the agents will deliver them to your door. That is the beauty of ordering through WineWire.
Yeah, give us some feedback on the show, folks. Tell us about shows that you'd like to see. Give us some ideas on new shows. We'll try to bring them to you, and we'd also love you to join us on Twitter and Facebook and see what we have to say, because despite the fact that we only taste wine with you a few times a week, we're pretty much out there every single day bringing you some news about something related to wine and having it in Ontario.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you in a couple days. Any last words, my friend?
Salut.
I'm at a few words. See you next week.